Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at the Fox Lake Correctional Institution. All calls, other than properly placed attorney calls, may be monitored and recorded. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, thank you for using CenturyLink. You may start the conversation now.
Hello. I apologize ahead of time if you guys really can't hear me. There's a lot going around here, so it's a bit noisy. So I'm going to start off this call with a quote that I found while I was reading a book. It was entitled The Creation of Dangerous Violent Criminals. And the quote says, when people look at dangerous violent criminals at the beginning of its developmental process rather than at the very end of it, they will see, perhaps unexpectedly, that the dangerous violent criminal began as a relatively benign human being for whom they would probably have more empathy than antipathy. Perhaps more importantly, people will conclude that the creation of a dangerous violent criminal is largely preventable, as is much of the human carnage which follows in the wake of their birth. Therefore, if society fails to take any significant steps to stop the process behind the creation of dangerous violent criminals, it tacitly becomes an accomplice in creating them. I found that quote very interesting because it's true in prisons all over America. And although I am not a dangerous violent criminal, simply because I am incarcerated, many people make the assumption that I am. That being said, my name is Ramiah Whiteside, and I am currently incarcerated in the state of Wisconsin. For going on 20 years, I have acclimated to the routines of prison life. Every single thing in prison is on a set schedule and part of a repeating pattern. Every day is the same. Counts are several times each day. Meals are the same times each day. The menu itself is the same, it's just on a rotating basis. The rec schedule is also on a rotating basis. We got a set schedule for everything. Anywhere, any type of movement, it's on a schedule. School is on a set schedule. Work assignments are on a set schedule. Showers, visits, phone calls, literally everything. Everything you can possibly imagine is on a set schedule in prison. So the schedule itself, that depends on like the level of security the prison is, whether it's a maximum, a medium, or a minimum, or even a supermax. And anybody that deviates from the set schedule at that prison is punished. And yes, all prisons have some type of segregation unit or hold. So as for me to date, I've been warehoused at 9 different Wisconsin prisons, 3 maximum security, 1 supermax, and 5 medium security prisons. And the reason I say warehouse is because there's an unbelievable amount of time wasted doing absolutely nothing each day, and that is 100% acceptable. You know, you got some guys, they will literally sleep all day. They get up for count, go back to sleep. Get up for chow, go back to sleep. And they do it all day. You know, going to work or going to school, none of that is mandatory. Not in this state. And even if it was, you know, it's, you know, there's not enough work, there's not enough room, there's not enough resources or staff to, you know, supervise every prisoner if they wanted to work or if they wanted to go to school. So I'm actually one of the lucky ones. I have a job. Right now I tutor guys in math, and for that I get paid about 20 cents an hour. And the work I do, you know, trying to help these guys, a lot of the teachers are more old school. They can't, for whatever reason, find a way to get through to these guys and help them learn the material so they can, you know, earn their GED. So I do the best I can. I believe I'm an effective tutor, you know, because I take a lot of pride in my work, and I actually take it personal. You know, it kind of means a lot to me if the guy I'm tutoring knows how to do fractions properly. You know, even if I'll never see him again ever in life. You know, so clearly I'm not doing it for the money. Personally, I earned my own HSED some years ago, and I actually currently have over a year of college completed with a straight A average. All my prison programs are done except for one, and I'll probably be offered that one just as soon as probably hell has an ice storm. And I say that because, this is one of those AODA programs that, everybody gets up on the soapbox about. But the thing is, I haven't had an issue with drugs or alcohol in almost 2 decades, but they still want me to take this AODA program. If you let them tell it, this thing is the best thing since sliced bread, but I know better. I've seen guys actually in the program, still messing around with substances. So, it looks good on paper, but I know the reality. The reason I say that is because I know personally, nobody's going to stop doing drugs or stop engaging in criminal activity if they don't want to. No program can make them stop. They have to have the mindset. They have to really want to stop, and it's a lot of work, to travel down that road to do things differently. So this program, along with some of the other ones that are offered, I think it's just a well-disguised placebo. And it's about as effective reducing recidivism as the death penalty is at deterring violent crimes. I don't believe in them. To me and what I've experienced in almost 20 years, prisons are about punishment, period. And anybody who thinks otherwise, I know a guy that knows a guy that can sell him a bridge for very cheap. So anyway, one of the main reasons I share some of my experiences with Incarcerated Voices is so people out in the community, they kind of get an idea of what the reality is, and they don't continue to be fooled by, these tough-on-crime pundits every election cycle that comes around. We're supposed to be a civilized society, but, you got a lot of stuff that happens on a regular basis in prisons across America that easily constitute cruelty or even torture. And I say this from my own experiences. A few years ago, I was forced to cell up with a prisoner who had some very serious mental health challenges, along with some very serious medical conditions. I mean, this guy was completely schizophrenic, and he had some kind of chronic wasting condition, and he had HIV, like AIDS, HIV. And on a daily basis, this guy would bleed all over the sink and toilet when he brushed his teeth or shaved. Now, the prison staff knew about this guy's history of fights. They knew about his mental state. They knew about his HIV status, and they still celled him up with me. And not one time did any DOC staff person provide him or me with any cleaning materials whatsoever to clean up the blood and body fluids that he spilled on a daily basis. Not once. So, in addition to that part alone, this guy would wake up in the middle of the night screaming that, they, somebody, were trying to get him. Every day this guy made at least one threat towards me because he thought that I was in a conspiracy to help get him. So for almost an entire month, this was my personal torture. This is a fact. This really happened. I didn't even lay in the bunk at night because any type of movement, would set this guy off. I would literally sit up all night on guard. I would catch a quick nap whenever this guy left the cell because there was no way in hell I was closing my eyes with him in a 6 by 10 foot cell. Not going to happen. And just for the record, if anybody wants to look it up, it's a real case. Whiteside, Ramiah Whiteside versus William Pollard, Pollard. I argued this case pro se myself all the way to United States Supreme Court, and I ended up losing because one of 3 grievances that I filed regarding this situation was rejected by the prison. And I shared that, because this type of situation happens all the time. It's commonplace. It's the norm. The Humane Society treats stray dogs and cats better than I've seen human beings being treated, myself included. It doesn't happen all the time like this, but there are instances where it gets real bad, real ugly, real quick. Especially like the SEG units. SEG units in prisons are mini torture chambers. You got the prisoners in there, they're isolated. The good majority of the day, you always got some type of loud banging, kicking, yelling, screaming, tapping, loud talking, or crying going on. The cells can be filthy, smeared with feces or blood. Cells can be definitely hot in the summer. They can be ice cold in the winter. And I know for a fact from personal experience because I've done my fair share of seg time. The longest stretch I've had in seg I did over a year straight in these types of conditions. So simply put, people can really go crazy in segregation. And actually this is well known to the people on this side of the barbed wire. But people out there, they really need to know how things are. You know, the uh, the suicide rates are what they are in SEG for a reason. The suicide rates, for the general prison population are what they are for a reason. Prisons, they're not nice. Prisons are hell. They really, really are. And we do the best we can to get by day after day. On a personal level, my relationships with family and friends over the years have suffered immensely. After so many years of straight incarceration, I'm lucky. I'm very lucky to have any friends or family, left, in my life at all. Because out of sight, out of mind, and that happens all day, every day around here. I've watched family members grow up. I've watched them finish college, and I've watched them go on and start their own families. I've also watched family members and friends die or get killed over the years. I've lost my dad, my granddad, grandma, you name it. I've lost so many different people, so many different friends. And those are really hard times for me or anybody in this position. But the thing is, ain't nobody going to hold your hand in prison. This is literally a jungle. This ain't Sesame Street. We don't sit on the curb and sing Kumbaya. Whatever happens in your personal life, deal with it. You still have to follow the routine. You still have to go through those patterns. And you can't deviate from it, no matter what's going on in your life. So from that perspective, prisons are about punishment. And every aspect of prison life is a part of that ongoing, non-stop punishment. From the strip searches to the cell searches. From, the monitor collect calls to the feces covered all over the walls. From the barrage of stupid conversations to the endless illogical explanations. Prisons are hell. They're designed for punishment. Outside of that, and program-wise, for me, I think the programs that would actually help with rehabilitation and things of that nature, they're gone. They're getting phased out just as quick as you can blink. Restorative justice, that's a program, really, outside of all the other ones, that program should be offered at every prison. I've actually completed that program twice, and by far, it's the most effective program offered in the prison system. Why do I say that? Because it holds prisoners accountable while at the same time offering them redemption. Some of the naysayers might say it's too soft or whatever. But this program is not about being soft on prisoners at all. Anytime you can look a rape survivor or victim in the face while she tells her story of what happened to her and you're wearing green or a prison suit, I doubt that's very soft. And it's not only about punishment either. The restorative justice program, it balances accountability with opportunities for healing between the prisoner, the victim or survivor of crime, and the community. When you can face what you did or something similar to what you did and grow from it and help somebody else find closure and heal from it, that's the name of the game. This whole punishment mantra or tough on crime rendition that everybody keeps jumping on, the statistics, anybody can see that. It doesn't work. So, in addition to the restorative justice program and just about every other program offered by the DLC, I've completed. On my own personal routines, I exercise, I meditate, I do yoga on a daily basis. I do a lot of
You have 1 minute left.
personal reading and studying on my own. I mentor guys when I can. In a nutshell, I get as much as I can out of each day because I really don't want to waste my life being warehoused. I've accepted my punishment. I've accepted that I have a debt to pay to society. I accept that. I get that. But I don't want to waste the time sitting around playing checkers, sitting around doing nothing, sitting around, trading war stories with the guys on the tier or the guys from the block. So I have strong goals for my future, and each day is another day, of effort toward me achieving those goals. Because contrary to public belief, I don't like being here. I don't want to be here, but I don't want to see other people come here either. We can do better than this, and that's why I contribute to this program, because I'm on the outside, I'm inside looking out, hoping you guys can help stop this system from getting even worse.
Thank you for using
Thank you.
CenturyLink.
The caller has hung up. Thank you for using
CenturyLink.